finally, over in NA West, is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Rex getting his high ground shot out and going for a last-ditch effort to hit everything he can. That's it for the top players from the qualifiers, and the stage has been set as we head into the finals this weekend. Make sure to tune in at Fortnite.com/watch or in client, and we'll see you guys on the battle bus. Beep beep.
Hey guys, Wager here, and today we're going to be analyzing some of the biggest and most loot-heavy drop spots in the game. Everything with loot paths, timing, fighting, the most crucial time that sets the tone of the rest of the game is the early game and your drop spot. Top heroes have developed ways to split up and attack each of their drops in their own special ways, and we're going to dive in and see some of the basics of each of these spots, as well as who's utilizing them to place high on the leaderboards. Retail Row is an old drop that returns with a new twist in Season X, with both obelisks offering high priority loot and cube monsters offering free shield and ammo drops. Getting control of this drop fast and early can put you at a huge advantage endgame, offering multiple options from increased launch pads, excess shields, divers utility, and big hitting weapons from all ranges. This drop gets split down the middle halfway, separated into the block shops and the houses/residential side. Most of the time, looting and moving is faster than the block shops, and the increased elevation on heights by default allows for an advantage to whichever hero lands there compared to those at the residential side of the drop. 2 vending machines and multiple chests available too. Mongrel, Benji Fishy, and Nitro have adopted and trained at this drop over multiple weeks of the FNC. Forcing really good fights on Black Ops and coming in late with third parties from the residential side. They use every advantage depending on the type of situation they have to beat other trios and win week after week, leaving the whole lobby scared every time they thank the bus driver. Happy Hamlet has been the most competitive player and most test spawns in many vending machines include having good options for rotation, supplies and boost boards, as well as the option of excess loot to get snowside if you have zone. Winning this drop and having room to play is a player's dream come true. Playing this drop, however, is very difficult. Usually with 2 to 4 teams competing for how effective loot is, you will always have an uphill fight to face and practice play. If you want an advantage at any point, taking fights here is all about this first and moving the third one. Most engagements can be quick, as many angles taken are vertical, making it a lot easier to hit blocks for that damage. Close-range block fights are also very common, with less room for mistakes and instant eliminations on top players, leaving all opponents healthy auto-cycle. Eclipsing, Mega, and Dubs land at half, usually preferring the more side drop, and although might have trouble making it at an early game in a few of their games, the loot they get when the drop ends up working out sets them up for exponentially more points in the end game with lots of mobility, shields, and high rarity weapons to make big clutches with. Landing at powerful drop spots is a challenge that requires practice and teamwork to overcome. In addition with comms, having a plan, being prepped and ready, as well as adapting to anything you see on the drive are keys in being successful in the early parts of your game. Use that edge for a boost on the competition in endgame, securing good placement and elim points with your trio. And who knows, maybe you can be on the top of the leaderboard playing in the grand finals of the FNCS.
What's up, Fortnite fam? It's me, Zeke, and we're hanging out with our best friend, Sundown. We're doing something a little crazy, Sundown.
Oh, are we now, Zeke? What are we doing?
We are going to make some very bold predictions heading into the finals of the FNCS. We also have our friend Monster D-Face standing by and Shy Wager gentlemen who want to say hello.
What's up, boys?
Heyo. Very quickly, within 30 seconds left, you guys got Middle East, Sundown.
So everyone else went with Fiesel, Kappa, and Klops. They won 4 of the 5 times, but I think them splitting them might have given them not enough practice. So my bet is going to go towards Flame, Prime, and Hunter. Expect to see them challenging towards the top, and you can't leave out Fiesel, Klops, and Kappa as well.
All right, Monster D-Face, OCE, go. Honestly, I'm going to have to go with Ease, Araya, and Skylar. And the main reason is because part of So with that being said, I know the things coming up, but I think Beasley and Skylar are really going to give OC a run for the Sundown, where those
a rivalry. So one of the favorite picks to win NA East are Bucky Animal. I counter to that trio is really strong at the moment. It's Clicks, Crimson, Spades. They play kind of a rugged type of game. Always getting the wins at the very end of the game. Their type of randomness and weird plays that happen will have them make big plays to win at the end of the grand finals.
Now let's talk about Brazil, gentlemen. I'm going to take this one from gold plane to the red green. Snow, Avalar, and just barely missed out on qualifying. The same for Snow and Avalar. This will be the weekend. They're very hungry for the win. I'm telling you guys, they are going to do it. Now, finally, let's wrap up with NA West. On Speedbase, use your take.
I'd be crazy not to mention the trio, Scented, Rex, and Edgy, because they've been the most consistent in the NA West region. I think another trio that's going to run for their money is Falconer and Vinny. And Falconer, by the way, the only free agent on this team here in the NA West, at the top of the board, still dominating. So I would love to see them come through and pull it big for the NA West region.
Some pretty bold predictions made across the board from everyone. Sundown, Shy Wager, Monster Face, thank you guys so much for hanging out. And for everyone at home, don't forget, tune in this weekend for the FNCS Finals, September 22nd. Watch at Fortnite.com/watch. Of course, see you on the Battle Bus.
Beep, beep.
Fortnite fam, we've missed you guys so much, and now we are here for the grand finals of the Fortnite Champion. You guys know who I am. I'm Jason. Let's introduce the crew that will be hanging out all weekend long. On the left of me, you've got Sundown, the luscious locks, T-posing on everyone with a nice little dab. In the back, you've got Dr. Lupo. He recently won an award for being an incredible human being, and to his right, you've got Monster Face. The content creator that people still confuse us for some reason. I'm not sure why. Up in front, you've got Shy Wager, the big man with even bigger plans. He's a 10 out of 10, and by the end of the stream, he'll be eating a cup of mayonnaise. Now, Fortnite fam, I know you guys are ready to get into all of the action, but first, we should probably get all these new faces in the broadcast up to speed on how the broadcast is going to be run. Let's start with the broadcast schedule. So right now, we're going to be hopping into Europe during one of the heats going on right now. Later on, we're going to look at some of the regions from Middle East that happened this morning with a live look in Brazil after that. And then we'll wrap the day with NA East. Now, how are these guys racking up their points? Let me get you up to speed on that. So first off, 9th through 12th will get you 3 points. Like placing between 5th and 8th is 6. 3 and 4th, I'm sorry, 3rd and 4th is 9 points. 2nd place is 12 points. And that victory royale is worth 15, with every elimination being 1 point. Now, the prize pool across the FNCS has been $10 million. And here is a prize distribution for this weekend. A lot of money to be divvied out. And of course, the money is great, but being able to crown the first ever season champion across all regions is an even better feat. Now, before hopping into the games, we made some predictions earlier on in the week for Europe. There is one among us that is had a bit of a different opinion, and that's fine. We'll get there. But Sundown, why don't you tell us about our predictions from Europe?
So I'll talk about our predictions, since the rest of us decided that, we had a brain and were able to look at what went on in the past 5 weeks. And Mitra, Marco, and Benji wiped the floor with the rest of the region. They averaged a 1.4 placing, 3 wins, 2 second places. I know I've always harped on it, but it took literally 4 really, really bad games in both of those weeks for them to get barely edged out into second place. And any other time they've played their game, they've been on top. But Shy, it seems like you went a different direction.
Well, I understand they got their high placements, they're in their high castle, but personally, I see a revolution coming. I predict an upset, stopping Chicken and Aqua actually taking it all home at the end of the grand finals. They're amazing, but I think they won't have what it takes, and Aqua will still race at the very end.
Well, we'll have to for these trios now. Like I said earlier, I we got Monster Face, Dr. Lupo, gentlemen, take it away.
Thank you very much. For those that are confused, I went on Twitter and made a bet and said if the three that we've all, I mean, we've seen him just absolutely destroyed thus far. If they do in fact win, then he will eat not a cup, an entire.
As we jump into these games, but let's go ahead and hop right in. It's Europe. They're trying to get to the grand finals. There's going to be a lot of action unfolding today, Dr. Lupo.
Lo and behold, 95 players remaining. Only one trio in Hull has gone down, and we're jumping right into retail with the trio themselves: Benji, Mongrel, and Mitro. Honestly, some of the most dominant players in solos and duos, and now they're trioed up.
That's right.
And crazy kitted already. A gold RPG.
That's
right
literally what I want to touch on right there. The retail row loot.
Look at the inventory.
Sets them up for success. You're looking at straight up legendary inventory. And the best of the best, what do they choose? Shield bubbles. Shield bubbles, one of the new items introduced to Fortnite, and it's a great item, right? It's so versatile. So you're going to see shockwaves, you're going to see launch pads, campfires, and even with the recent adjustment to the loot, the way it's divvied out here in retail, it's still so prominent in the loadouts. You're going to see the difference. And just look at the map on the side. Basically, no one allows them to contest.
It's wild thing. So I'm going to say it, and I'm pretty sure everyone is already thinking it, as we've seen them play over the course of the qualifiers for this event. If no one contests retail, or it's lightly contested. Let's say somebody drops black tops and they take Resi side, or however it's split.
I can tell you what that means.
It
means Shayo is 100%
eating the mayonnaise.
Eating the mayonnaise.
100% guaranteed eating the mayonnaise. In fact, production, can we get a jar of mayonnaise ready just at some point before Sunday? Because based on what we've seen thus far, we have an insane mat count across the board already. Look at the inventory. This is ridiculous. They are kitted to the teeth. 11 points already going into game 2. Game 1 must have. We'll have to take a look back if we can see exactly how that played out for them the previous round. But they're moving in. They have maybe. Granted, we can see on the minimap that there's nobody at Dusty Depot right now, but that's a potential drop spot for a trio at this point. But right now it's uncontested. You see there's builds there and there's no one around. They have a free rotation in. You see where the next circle ends up. Meanwhile, you're going to have teams smushed up against each other already on the movement in, fighting it out. We're looking all the way to the north side of the map, just past the block. A number of players probably dropping up there.
And this is a veteran team right here. The Vic, Robabs, and Falcony been around the scene for a long while here, and they are just dictating the pace of this battle here as they're trying to look for this push right now. The shield bubble's not going to be effective. He actually had to push out of it, and it's a 3v1 situation right here. Down comes the Stinker. That's going to have to push him back, and it should be a nice, easy close-in. You can see right there.
Got him zoned inside. One box left. The quick edit, the swap. Lands a shot,
nice
trap from above,
trap.
dodges it. Basically no damage taken.
It's a good attempt. Pretty good attempt right there. Did try to, catch the Vic off guard, but he was fast enough. Managed to kind of sneak on through.
By the way, on the right side of your screen, here's the results of game 1. You see Mongrel, Mitro, Benji Fishy taking 5th place. Alblefly, Miro, Matsoe in the 1st place position up there, which means 15 points for that trio. There's the remainder of your top 10. Just a quick info blast there for you if you did not see game 1 on any of the channels that might be streaming their gameplay right now.
And I love that. I love that we can see exactly where we're at with the leaderboard. That was the wrap-up of game 1, your top 10 teams coming into game 2 now. And remember, every single heat, they're going against one another. So we're going to see rivalry. The best, like that leaderboard is going to change with every single elimination, every battle. They're going against each other.
With the exception, of course, once Mongrel, Mitro, and Benji take that 1st place spot. I'm just saying, they have been playing insane. That's not to say that anybody else can't potentially take that top spot. It's very possible. I mean, even Skyt, Hunter, and Keystar from Solary and Lestream, this is an excellent trio in itself. But man, just the dominant gameplay from MMB has been insane to watch.
Yeah, Sundown put it best. It's Europe playing catch up here with our favorite I guess, team to look out for. But
Absolutely.
we'll see how the performances go here as Hunter, Sky, and Keemstar are just going to base up, kind of sit just outside of the Tilted Town. You can take a look at that map there. Players are setting up. They're setting the perches. The high grounds are being claimed. And that is how you can start to choke out squads that are rotating late here. Now, they are going to hopefully, you know, get a little bit of that RNG, right? Get that zone to fall in their favor, because otherwise they'd have to burn some valuable resource early on.
I will say, over 10 seasons of Fortnite, this hill has been one of the most consistent high ground advantage spots to take. And even now, you're looking down on Tilted Town where there's no building. You have essentially free shots on players that do, for some reason, choose or are forced to rotate through there. This spot is insanely good. You have clear line of sight on so many different locations. Even the high hill to the north, which is higher, high ground, elevation-wise, you still have a clear line of sight on a majority of what's up there. There's only a little nub at the top that can block line of sight of anybody that's moving on the north side of that hill. This trio, Sky, Keemstar, Hunter, they're in a great spot going into the next circle.
Absolutely. There's no reason for them to move right now either. As you said, they have a nice line of sight over the field here. And all those tags, those are crucial tags. Remember, Storm Surge can affect anyone here, so you have to be proactive. You can't just sit around and be complacent with your positioning. You have to be actively seeking for damage if you don't want to get taken out by the Storm Surge. But here we have another little engagement about to go down here. It looks like the Vic is currently turning, you know, this house inside out. There's a team very close by.
Rotating forward just to the southeast there, the gas station. Plus, you do have one more player at the gazebo in the middle of Pleasant Park, going to rotate up on top, and I think now's the time to try and get a height advantage. You don't want anybody to apply too much pressure. Plus, they are further away from the zone, so the team from TCK, they are in a good spot to just try and stormhold this, if that's what it comes down to. You have 3 potential point pickups here, eliminations. Actually, pressure going in here. Muser taking the high ground on top of this trio. Used that shockwave and got up on top. I would expect pressure from the other two here momentarily. We will see. But there is another trio. Look on the minimap. You have another team coming in from behind. So now both the trios that we just saw on your screen right now that are fighting it out here at this northeast building in Pleasant, they're about to get stormheld by another team down there. They're moving in as well. This is going to be 3 teams fighting basically in one building in a second here. And Gems is eliminated. You have a couple pickups there. The Vic. 3 eliminations now, a ton of materials, but you do have literally another team on top of them right now.
And that's what happens when Storm Surge comes into effect. People do desperate things. So this team was totally fine parked up here, but now they have to force the push here. They have to defend themselves. And lucky for them, they get the tags, they get the trades, and their entire trio is still standing. This is a 3-way battle going on here, all of which is probably forced out because of Storm Surge now.
I guarantee you there's some
Robab did a good
frustration.
job here. He's going to get shot in the back. He's the most hurt. He's actually going to shockwave through, trying to find himself a better position here, Dr. Lupo. And he does. He breaks away. He's got a little bit of time to himself now.
Good call there to try and rotate away. They are a little split at this point. Falconly's going to have to rotate back. Ginger 7 Josh and Tom Wamo all stacked up next to each other right there in front of the garage of that building. Wonder if the campfire is going to be a clue for them. If they do spot it and realize they might be low HP, might be the time to push. They have a way to pressure. 5 shockwaves in the inventory. Robabs means rotation here in a minute is not going to be a problem. The team shockwave going to come in clutch. Might be time for it. You see him line it up. In fact, he might even be marking it just to say, hey, let's get ready to go. Indeed, that's what he was doing. There we go. Rotation all the way south. Look at that. Solid push ahead of the team that did apply pressure moments ago. They have the circle advantage now, and now they are sitting at the forefront, able to stormhold.
And
a
what
big
a
move
reckless push. They had the zone right here.
They did.
They go outside the storm, the safety zone, just to try and force that fight, and then failed.
You got to think the potential chance of taking damage from the storm, the storm surge might have been the reason for the push. Not 100% sure. We didn't have the number up on the screen at that moment, but you have to think throwing away a positional advantage the last second there, especially because you know the storm timer. The circle timer is on your screen, so they know that at some point, if they're going to push, they need to make it quick or they just need to wait. Chose to move out there, and now they're on the outside. Meanwhile, 3 HP. The other 2 from the trio. Matsui Amplify still up. This is the winners from game 1, by the way.
Oh, they are.
25 points, a big lead going into game 2.
This is what we like to call shambles loot right here, man. Mira with no heals, 3 HP in the dream. Amplify also equally hurt. They do have a couple of eliminations to their name here. but it's looking pretty dicey.
Look on your mini-map. They have to rotate past so many teams, and they're sharing loot right now just to try and give everybody a chance. I almost would say maybe Miro drop everything that he's got just in case, you know, any chance to boost up the other two, because at this point, 3 HP is not the best situation to be in. Here we go, Matsui pushing forward. The other two not yet on his tail. You see, you can watch on the mini-map just a second there.
You actually have to appreciate Matsui kind of leading the charge here. He's the only one with shield on his team, so he says, you know what, I'm going to go out first. I'll do the building. I'll do the leading here, taking the pack to the next zone. And I mean, it gets him a little bit closer to the safety spot. I think the play here is either catch a pick, get this siphon, or buy time, right? Hopefully a launch pad comes down. You guys get a little share time on it, and they can get that way to the zone.
That audio cue, you hear the shockwave. That actually is a very good signal for them. Being low HP, they don't want to make a move before somebody else, and Hunter gets almost beamed into the ground, but now they know that they're basically free to rotate. The team that was potentially going to be a problem, big hit there, gets the elimination on Hunter, very valuable. Amplified does in fact go down. You see in the top left, Raxo takes him down from D-Mine. 23 trios remaining, 61 players total. The threshold on the middle right, they're 343 damage above. But Miro still sitting on only 3 HP. The mini's going to be a big pickup there. Now 53 total.
At least he gets him a little more health here, right? Puts him in the game, keeps him in the running just for a little longer. Now he has the option to pick up this blue pump, and he actually is going to opt into keeping the gold tack. That's actually a pleasant surprise there. Wouldn't have thought that, you know, the pros would take the slower pull-out time from the gold tack over the blue pump.
You get a 200 damage hit with the blue pump, can mean the difference between making it into the circle and getting stopped by somebody. Maybe you get surprised inside your own box, somebody takes your wall. Situational awareness is big for the blue pump to be extremely effective, and your accuracy has to be on. But man, when the thing hits, it really hits.
You really got to appreciate this push right here, because they're still fighting for this game right here. There's a minigun over to the left. That hit right there is going to hurt a lot, though, because, again, the heals are so sketchy here. I think they have one more mini left to their name. Yeah, perfect time to come with the explodes right there. He's trying to break through the build. Someone's going to catch a sneak shot from behind, though.
That back right corner, Miro down to 49 on the ground. Matsui probably going to have to leave him out to dry there. Another team making moves on the side. The safe zone, the next safe zone is the bottom middle of your screen, or bottom middle of the current safe zone. You see in the bottom right there, the mini-map. 5 damage below the threshold. Skype solo right now, looking for a tag, and he does actually find it, and an elimination is a big point right there. 20 trios remaining to get close to placement points before too long.
Just looking at the feed, I saw Mitro still in the running here somewhere in the game, so that trio, top 5 trio, still in the running here. I think our #1 team might have been completely wiped during that push right there, so they're out. They cannot accumulate any more points, but they did pick up a lot of eliminations, so you best believe they're still in the top 10 as far as we know right now. But it's so early. It's still so early.
There's a lot of opportunity here. We still have a number of games left. Camo, Harmy, and Pepper at the top of this, looks like 4 or 6 block tower. Stinger to apply pressure while the minigun is going. Love the EU tactics. You don't see too much minigun in other regions right now, but this Tamawamo does go down. Well, imagine that many rounds from a trio all shooting at your single build and you're by yourself. It basically GG at that point.
And this team here is also just heavy on the elims right now. An effective 7+ for the squad right here, and they have the prime position to catch the picks of anyone rotating from the backside. This is actually perfect too, right? The heavy congestion is below them. They don't have anyone up here in this layer with them. The closest person is this trio right here to their left, and it looks like it's time to get that focus fire on. Yep, here comes the minigun.
The mark for attacking right there, stink to apply and make a move. You use those HP tags that pop up, the 5, to see where your opponents are rotating. Now they're in literally the very bottom of the same builds. You have a ton of people stacked up next to each other at this point now. But Camo, Pepper, and Harmy look like they still have the ultimate high ground, the best spot on the map right now. That being said, they're on the far west of the current safe zone, and they need to rotate southeast. Hopefully, somebody's got a launch pad or shockwaves in the inventory to make this rotation. Otherwise, they're going to have to build across and tarp over everyone else underneath them. You do still see Benji, Fishy, Mongrel, and Mitro right there on your screen. They are still in this one. Looking down from almost the same angle. Here we go, rotation with the launch pad, well above the damage threshold for Storm Surge. Excellent spot, and 12 rockets in the RPG. They're gonna build on pre-built structure over there. that somebody else put up. It might even be their own builds.
And this is
Start
exactly
shooting the
what you
rockets.
want
This
to
could be
study
big.
from this star trio right here. Zone 6, they
There it
go
is.
for the high ground. So they're
He
actually
got
going to take
two.
the high ground. He's going to catch 2 on the knock right there, which means that team is really hurting now. That's going to be Voron who gets taken out there. Voron was also in the top 5, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a power takedown right here. It's going to allow this trio to just get one step closer, kind of breaking away, getting, you know, Shio Wager, the mayonnaise tub to the face. So we'll see if it, comes to fruition before the day's up.
Mitro staying a little bit towards the back, keep throwing down those RPGs at players that are rotating, or the builds to see if we can get drops on people. Mitro pick it up. There's those 2 elims in the feed, so he did secure both of them. That puts the entire trio at 6 total right now, 17 points. And we're looking at placement now, top 15 trios remaining. Only 29 players, though, as the elimination feed is starting to light up across the board. These are the zones that really cut the player count down as people are moving, especially when you have one of, if not the best trio on Ultimate High Ground with an RPG. Are you kidding me?
But
they are
remember,
in the best spot.
Remember, it still hurts to hold high ground from Zone 6 so early. They're going to be forced to jump down soon if they can't, you know, kind of map conserve properly. They're getting broken down consistently now by the shockwaves. These are one of the cons that happen when you take that high ground, because you don't get the pleasures of looting the players you drop, right? Just like that. All that loot's gone. They actually can't use it.
And every time you hear a shockwave, you'll see these players snap and look up in the air to see if they can try and find who's on the fly. In case you have free shots, as that elimination is secured. Mitro picking up a knock on Falconly in the feed. Another one for the trio, 7 remaining. I've got to say, if this is not a win for this team, I don't know what is.
It's going to be a close one. Mongrel actually did not have any more AR left in his gun. There's no more RPG left here. It's a straight-up shotgun battle. This is a crucial elim. That's going to get them some of the resources that they need to hold this high ground here. And it looks like it's cutting back across, so lucky for them, they're going to be able to kind of reuse some of their resource here. We have a couple players left in the game here. Red Rush in the low ground, Shaka and Cal as well. And here's Mitro just raining fire. That tac sub SMG so good for shredding through builds right here. And honestly, they can pierce through the turbos like right there. These are the shots. Good pressure right here from Mitro, putting down the fire, putting all the ammunition to use here. We're almost in the final zone now. This is it. Storm Zone 9. The close in will happen. Looks like Benji Fishy's going to go for that high ground. You saw him elevate himself right there. So he's going to get out of the harm's way of the shockwave. And Mitro's going to stay down here and just get down and dirty with the TAC SMG right now, Lupo.
You have to remember at the last set of placements here, the points really kick up as you go from 5th to 4th and 3rd to 2nd, and then the Victory Royale. So every time you see a player go down, like right there, the 4 trios remaining get even more points. As soon as one more trio goes down, we'll get it 1st and 2nd, and that's it. And we're down to the very last second here, the spray from above. This honestly, as soon as we got to top 40, this was Mongrel, Mitro, Benji Fishy, all the way to the end. No surprise here.
And a monstrous 12 elim game right there. And you saw even in the one step closer to Shio eating an entire jar of mayonnaise.
It's escalated because he said cup, but we really didn't define cup. Some people was like, is this a standard measuring cup? And someone was like, honestly, it should be a World Cup. I was actually just back in the kitchen looking to see if we could find any mayo. I'm gonna have to make a run tomorrow because after that last game, it was just incredible. So that is 2 matches down in the heat. Let's take a look first at the standings and see where we're at after the first 2 games because, that's weird. Who's that up top?
This might as well just be Shio, eat mayonnaise.
I mean,
I think
so
it
the
reads.
one thing, and we saw they had a number of elims. They were in actually 4th place after the first match, but then the 12 elim plus the Victory Royale, Zeke talking about it, every single one of those being a point in the
A quick little apology. Based on score, I had assumed that because Matsui, Miro, and Amplify had first place, that they had the Victory Royale. They, in fact, did not. So my apologies. All we were given was placement on the screen. That's my bad. Back to you.
We got to keep him honest, and we love him very much for it. But don't forget, the top 8 are moving on from this heat. So right now, you must be this tall to ride. So if we're looking at just top 8, the points, 18, that's just like a victory round is worth 15 points in and of itself. So even if you get that victory round with 3 eliminations, you can now look to strike up in the top 8. So, and we're only in second game. We're about to head into game number 3.
Couple of bad games, that's okay. If you're able to get in, get situated, get a couple of eliminations, get some placement points in there. As you can see right now, to be so well, and Lupo even hinted at it, saying at around like top 40 or so, you could kind of smell that they were going to have that victory out. It had the sense of, hey, they were going to get high ground. They had everything they needed. It's like, oh, this looks like it's going to be a win from them. Let's hop on in and see how they're able to execute and get this done. And one thing you'll note is when they are on high ground, they're so incredibly disciplined with their angles. They're constantly looking around, adjusting, putting rockets towards their opponents, and then keeping control, working with each other to make sure that they're finding the right targets. I mean, Mongrel's aim on people who are in the air, honestly, you'd think he's using a controller, the way these players just get deemed as they come through, but no, it is just amazing, bro. Just as Mitra would say, that's crazy. They are running it through 38 points up top, and again, always on the high ground, and for me, that's what's so impressive. In a meta where there's so many RPGs, so many shockwaves, the way they're able to not only get initial control, but then run the rest of the lobby without having to drop down and putting themselves in bad situations. They were never threatened. Count the number of times in this clip that bullets or anything are being shot back towards them. Everyone else is so focused on just trying to rotate and avoid damage from above that these guys don't have to do really anything in terms of defensive play, and they can just focus on going forward, and it seemed like it was just server replays. Watch them play. Check them out on their socials. You might want to actually mute their streams every now and then because they can get a little loud on the comms. Paulus does a great job breaking that one down. And let's actually take a look at page 2 of the standings because, as we talked about, in the heat formats, the top 8 are going to advance. But just so you can get a hint, 5 elims right now is getting you up into that second page. There's 32 teams in each one of the top 25% in order to advance. Every single one of these guys is impressive, but they're all capable of stringing together a couple of good runs. You have 6 games. A third of them are down. You're now into kind of like the meat of it. In the next 2 games, you don't want to go early. So expect to see some intense early on, and maybe a little more in the middle, because people don't want to get dropped out. You don't want it to be a 3rd game and then fall out and realize, oh, there's so much more off the pace. Now we really need to be pressing forward. I think you'll start seeing it in games 5 and 6, but 3 and 4, we're going to be playing a little bit more like me, hanging out, just being like, oh, there's people over there? No, I'm good.
Yeah, we'll have to see how things go because again, like you have to be final. So I think we're going to start maybe third they want to try and make top 8, so they might just say, look, we're going to put MMB in retail. Let's just go for it. We have let's try this. If it doesn't work out, we'll change up the
in the first 2 games, if you are hanging around off this page, if you're not in direct contention, you might think, man, I'm struggling right now. Like, we really need to get into it, but in reality, you're able to string together one or
trio come up and, you know, dethrone MMB. I am about that, but it's just going to be a lot about mental game, you know, like you're saying. If you start to just lose your confidence even just a little bit, that's going to affect your potential placement in top game. Good to see, though. I'm getting a little too excited, Fortnite fam. I want to see more of this. But yeah, I think we're getting ready. Battle Bus players are.
Oh, hot dog! Let's go home.
Just a moment.
Oh,
Do you think?
why not? Right here. I got you, buddy. Oh, wait. Game starting. I'm sorry.
the way you're able to kind of score and work your way up is through eliminations and placing higher up. Though
What the
in Europe,
fuck?
particularly, they have the highest amount of participation. So all of these players they are at the very tippy top.
Hello?
This is the top 0.01%.
Right.
These are the best of the best.
No.
Compete against these guys.
I'm gonna beat all your
However, as we're
tails.
sitting here and able to like, have our own predictions, there's a reason we all think Mitro, Mongo, and Benji have done it. There are
Why am I
repeated
thinking this
proofs
guy?
that have shown they're consistently stronger and that much
I'm the
better than
best.
the rest. It's
Oh, no, that's not
basing
never
this off
mind.
of like who our favorite players are, right? It's going and looking at and breaking it down. But for now, we're going to throw to a
Oh my god.
we'll talk to the bus driver to try and get that going. Brace whatever you need.
I fuck Goofy.
Goofy did it to me, so I really don't care. Oh my gosh, I can't build with freaking far. Hey, baby, Jesus, stop.
Hey, Goofy, just slap him in his ass.
I didn't know what you did tell, but okay. I guess so. I mean,
The Victory Royale. Let's start with the early game. Also called the looting phase, this is where all players
Did you clap them cheeks?
I caught Fortnite cheeks, not anybody's cheeks. I blush too much, you know what I'm saying? Oh, thank you, buddy, I'm out.
now place the game by being eliminated early. You drop at a high loot POI like Retail Row or Paradise Palms, or land at a safer POI on the edge of the map.
Did you clap Mickey's
Oh.
cheeks?
Loot. Regardless, the goal is
No,
common,
of
whether you
course
take a
not.
passive approach by looting safely on the side of the map, or
No.
a risky approach by letting others loot for you and finding
But,
a location.
Donald is making me some chicken wings.
Should we be
Thank
looking
God.
out for during this stage? First things first, being contested. The first realization players make when landing is whether you're being contested or not. To prepare,
Fuck Pluto.
into the more disadvantageous
Yeah, I
position
put them in
without potential.
adoption, of
Either they have
course.
to make a desperation play, or they're stuck with less loot where you can easily clean up.
Yeah,
That's just the
barking.
beginning.
Did you clap Pluto's cheeks?
Slows down as the
What
rotations
is up
begin
with you
towards
clapping
first
cheeks?
zone.
My God.
Looting doesn't end here, and most competitive players will have a loot path,
Oh, Pluto, yes.
ability, and weapon upgrades. Thanks to the new battle map feature in the replay mode, we can study these loot paths and rotations quite easily these days. So go check that out in any replay from the Fortnite Champion Series by going into the Compete tab and finding your favorite player. End of second zone. The mid game is the calm before the storm. Before the storm circle gets too small where it forces the engagements. Most players' goals aren't positional, but in some cases, depending on how the early game went, you again have to strike a balance, this time between looting and farming, or going for the best position. Looting could include playing extremely aggressive to bring yourself other players' loot. In trios, it's much harder to play that aggressive playstyle, since fights take longer and cost more. You want to be efficient with any rotations or fights you have to take. You don't want to spend your precious mobility, valuable resources, or health. This is why you'll see a lot of the top players look directly for center
Anyone
zone
there?
in the mid game. When you're in the center zone, you end up giving yourself a lower chance of being in the next storm circle when it gets revealed. You'll then have to go less distance and thus
Yikes.
spend less materials. Finally, the end game. The most exciting, hectic,
My
thrilling,
right
and difficult
foot,
part of
my
competitive
butt.
Fortnite. Experiencing an endgame can be confusing and hard to process, but it will also be one of the most rewarding and fun times to play and watch. This is when you take all the advantages you built in the early game and the mid game, and you can push yourself to a victory royale, and also find as many eliminations as possible. Champion Series every elimination. Just like zone onwards, where the calm from the mid game explodes into a cacophony of tunneling, mobility usage, and shots being fired. You'll see teams go for the ever so advantageous high ground, where they can tunnel very cheaply and have the best opportunity for the rest of the server for the
Grandma is like, fuck my
also see
butt.
teams call out the need to find a good layer, which is away from other players, both above, below, and horizontal. The extra materials to last them through to the full zone closure, going for power weaponry of their fallen opponents. So, whether you're watching or you're joining us on the field, take stock in the stage of the game. The early while it's still available. Where you're balancing position, maintaining what you built during the early game. Finally, the game. You spend all the energy to set yourself up. Use this to form your game plan in order to earn as many series points we
Ahoy, mateys!
This was Bala TW, and I'll see you in game.
One of the most dynamic, flexible clutch items every trio is utilizing in the Fortnite Champions Series. We're going to be taking a look at some of the basics on how it's used and misused at crucial moments in the game, and how to adapt and play against them towards the end game. To get started, let's get into the on what shockwaves are and some of the basics of using them. Shockwave grenades are a utility item that drop in stacks of 2, with a maximum stack size of 6. When thrown, the shockwave launches anyone within its tile and a half radius far distances, destroying builds in the process, with the added protection from fall damage for the players who use them. The most effective way to angling yourself above it for higher vertical in midair.
Regardless,
You use a shockwave to rotate
I
through
do
those
what I
like
do.
it. You will only be able to go through about 5 layers of wood, brick, or metal before you come to a stop. When going for height, if you don't get stopped by any opposing player, entering the atmosphere of trios and teamwork, the use of shockwaves plays a role in the game. There are deciding factors in winning this positioning and rotations. Using them and sticking together after the landing is efficient and gets your whole trio online, ready to fire at a faster rate compared to the rest of the competition. Saving these grenades for later use to supplies as well, and allow more shock into the whole server. Looking at 8th and 9th zones with densely packed endgames, vertical shockwaves near high ground and mid ground layers. Towering above them. Facing off games, there's usually proves fatal. All throughout your whole fight and easily targeted by the trio you're trying to attack. On the way up from your shockwave can work against this though, but gives your newfound height or foundation easily shot out and focused. Panicking with shockwaves in your own box and misusing them is always an irreversible mistake during the game, giving you poor positioning split away from your trio, costing you golden resources, and ultimately you and your teammates their entire health and shield absolutely shockwaves, new and clean strategy. Mishaps in certain situations. Overwhelming the competition. Identifying these mistakes, staying in your lane, and watching teams move is a good way to anticipate and prevent disaster from striking before it happens. Although an item overlooked as simple mobility at first, the potential and efficiency of using chocolate grenades as a trio separates them from those in the range. Practicing this and watching how plays are set out before they happen, you can create a tactical loop, solve mistakes, and get better reflex on height when using one of the most versatile items in the game. Sure.
I'm a book night.
Right. And who knows? That saves your team.
Aha.
I don't care who's got coming up. Jag just kanske jag vill. Jag ligger åt ett square cheese i shorty.
He thinks, and the thing is, he thinks you're learning right now. He thinks you're learning, bro.
First of all, sorry about that. We
Fortnite,
had a little bit of
what you
issues
doing
with
right
the
now?
European matches flushing, but there's been a ton of Fortnite matches going on this morning anyway with Middle East rapid and we're gonna hop into some of the action and also predictions in the Middle East have been pretty good. I know Z kind of hinted at it, but you can check out on the competitive Twitter and also on
Yeah, Jarvis,
YouTube
where is it,
some of our
man?
predictions that preview
Where's the
these
Battle
we're able to
Royale
go
at, is
through.
that?
And we talked about what some of our predictions,
Taiwan.
particularly in the Middle East and European region, are. So make sure. Hopping into Heat 2 Match 1 of the Middle East region in just a second here. And honestly, I'm excited. It's going to be the first time seeing Middle East in outside of the open tournament format and seeing the top teams really go at it. And honestly, looking at the Heat afterward, there are a lot of big changes now up on the board. There are some differences in the prediction. One, I will say, I was the one who predicted Fortnite and Hunter up there. So swap speaking highs names. Otherwise, Fox, Zero, Kappa, and Diesel were the favorites going through. They performed pretty well. You will be seeing them in the grand final tomorrow. However, Lane, Prime, and Hunter have a positive day in their heat and advance through. So predictions so far are holding steady. Different styles of play, different types of gameplay from the region, but enough for me. I've talked enough. Let's throw it on over to Lupo. The Middle East Heat 2 match 1.
Occasionally we run into issues. Do your best to not get too much up with
to recover Heat 2 game one, Middle East region. Town, a number of
They're just learning about geography. You're playing Fortnite, bro. So
early blue pump shot in tilted down. As you can see, is honestly one of the most powerful weapons you can get. It's just up close by. The first blend in tilted town. You know you're gonna get it. You know at least the first one is for sure. You're probably gonna get yourself
skill and accuracy is such a big in building up early lead.
You should probably put it away, Joe, so in case
Just because you can pick up all that stuff out of the chest. It's arguably one of the better spots to drop right now.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, imagine a game where one of these guys bring that double barrel out of Tilted Town, because there are some rules in play where the double barrel shotgun only spawns in Tilted, but you can even take the weapons out of the place as well.
Third time's a charm. There we go.
I was gonna say, Hubbie's having a little bit of a struggle there, trying to get up and over.
No, we've got that already, bro.
Down that
Yo, we should put cinnamon in his coffee, bro. Should we just fill it up? Jones, come. Yo, guys, let's just take a look at this, bro. It's gonna be hella funny, man. We're all in on this prank together right now.
Clearly, you don't watch my stream. I appreciate it, though.
But alright, now we're looking at
Wait, bro, this
here.
just gonna be.
Stand up.
Bro, we've got to make him not know that he's got curry powder in his coffee. What do we do? We just messed up the teacher's coffee so badly, bro. Wait, honestly, it just looks a bit frothy now, you know what I'm saying?
See that?
If I had to guess, I actually did Middle Eastern VOD review. They landed towards Junction, so they must have had some kind of problems over at Haunted Hills, but we'll talk about that in just a bit here. As Kenji uses a down, he's going to try and take the high ground here, and he is going to get chipped just a little bit. Such a nice pitch going on right here, and this is one of our newer competitive regions, so a little bit of catch-up, right? Catch up to the rest of the competitive scene per se. Now they have
these players are so good, Monster. We've been watching each other grow pretty quickly and playing the game just from watching. Immediately clicks up, gets a knockout hit, who's trying to but you can tell these players have been asking. I know they've been watching the competitive experience between all these other regions. That kind of learning is big time.
to catch easy for M, and they were held back for so long because of the ping differences, right? Yeah. But now having their own region, a lot of it has, a lot of these players.
Yeah, looks like a cappuccino. Yeah, no, it just looks like a cappuccino, right? I'm not drink that. Coming back, he's coming back. This is a bad prank, guys. Yeah, I don't know how we can do saying we've been pretty chill. The shooter
only suffers you pick up those 3 eliminations, so I'd say that's 100% worth it. Bubble shields in rotation out. Up on top and Bill. Sneaky landing.
A headshot right there. The shields only down to bandages in this. They have to take off. Also gather some. This team is not letting up. We have the NL squad right here. Nella, Easy, and right here. Or side, excuse me. And they're coming in with the push. They're still fully shielded up for the most part.
Now we got the ultimate high ground right now. Gonna have to fight out one player all the way at the top. Shots coming. It's like a teammate trying to knock down that build as they're pushing up. Side. Ultimate high ground looking down from above. Little explode from underneath. Gonna have to build against that. Waiting for the peak shot. Look at the timing on that. Very last second before getting to the pyramid. Gets on the timing shot. Look at the last one. There it is. Finds the knock on Izzy. They have the advantage at this point. Picks up that elimination up to 125 total HP. Nella gets knocked. Wild Gamer picking up that elimination. And an RPG in there is going to be huge. Attack shotgun shots back to back. Finds the third one. And that is a solid 3 eliminations for Psy. Wild Gamer made it up for the loss of silence down there.
Fighting on the heels right there. They turn that battle over. Very well done. Not actually got the punch, but pretty sure routes around the Middle Eastern region. So good to see him pulling up and performing here. They now clear, and they have this in the crew. They have to get this revive on. So Silence is going to be able to come back in the game as he gets that.
Huge. Sai has 2 good shotguns in there. Bandages. SMG. finish looting up down here, farm any materials they can get out of it. They're in the safe zone. Circle still has 38 seconds before it closes, so they're not feeling too much pressure in any way right now. We'll have to see where the next circle goes. This is a good opportunity for them to build up a good buffer, materials, healing, any leftover loot that might be down here, and make their way onto the next safe zone without much issue. Meanwhile, Super, Sammy, and Dream pushing from outside of the storm. The far east drop here in the desert.
Such a weird place to play as well. The moisty palms where you can't just crouch free. You have to be very cautious. A lot of the competitive players opting to unbond the crouch just in case. You know, you don't want to make any mistakes there. You're not any advantage, right? You set yourself up for crouch and fights all the time. You don't really realize it till
when it does happen, I'll say. Looks like a shockwave to avoid a fight there, but City does get the pick there. A knockdown with rotating in the
health up. There is a player outside of the storm line. So his teammate Will waiting nearby. You can see over at the other kind of crater there to the left where you can farm up all the stones. Probably where the rest of that guy's duo is. Most likely, I should say here. But someone does see it. Yeah. Rotation pushing on in. We have a trio coming in.
So now's the time. You have people just coming in from the storm. You think you're in the better position. Pushing is basically a no-brainer. You see here, to stay in.
When the shot outside the storm, you might as well push out. Come out with a little bit. Anything to advantage there. Sammy wants to snuff it out. Want to take the third party. Oh, it actually isn't a third party. They're just bullets here, so they want to.
I don't blame him. You basically started that fight not as a full trio. Sam was still outside in the storm, and so rotating back away and saying, nah, this is not the fight to take. We're not exactly in the best spot. Plus, if you think about it, they did force that team, the team that applied pressure from inside the safe zone, to burn through some traps. There's some zap traps in the wall, so you've gotten rid of those, cleared those out of the inventory, which is great for later in the game. Ultimately, kind of a win-win. Set of eliminations here.
This is a nice little look right here. That are on the west and north side of the map, forced to fight their way down now. Quite a rotation here as the stone seems to be pushing all the way south. So the later you move, the more congested this rotation will be, the harder it will be for you later in the game. You really want to get down here early, especially when a zone favors one side pretty heavily. Some competitive players try to rotate nice and early.
I'm looking for Nazir to hit a snipe shot here. He keeps pulling that heavy sniper out and taking a look. He hasn't gone for it yet. I would say position-wise, not the best call. You draw a lot of attention to yourself as you are further outside towards the edge of what is currently safe. So people are probably going to look back and try and stumble you. But could you imagine Nazir hitting just a crazy snipe right there on the rotation in? They suddenly have advantage, a trio versus only 2 left up. They could push through, pick up 3 elims, all the materials, and make their way in the safe zone.
This is actually very interesting right here. FHD actually opened this battle up with the heavy snipe. They catch the knock, but they don't even collapse to kind of seal the deal. They say, you know what, instead, we're going to focus more on the zone. Bit of distraction, downtime, and chaos to get ahead of the zone here. It's probably still going to convert if they can get to the zone first and then turn the battle back around.
Depends on how fast the storm is moving on this edge. They are closer to the short side, so it's moving slower. Yeah, you have a chance maybe for a pickup there, but I think, like you're saying, in that moment they say, yeah, we got the knock, we could push forward. The placement at this point probably more important. You're looking at 26 trios remaining. You don't get the placement points until top 15, and even then, pushing into the storm, getting to safe, very, very important. You want to try and make to that top 15 as early as possible. Get to a safe spot so you can sit and wait.
You saw a little bit of a storm surge warning there as we're approaching zone 3. Zone 3 ratio. Storm surge will start to tick. So only one trio right now. This trio here. Anything can happen. You can get pushed by the wrong ones. The team can get into a fight. So
at this point, only one player. FHD. Quick little flick, a 157 body shot. teammate up top.
A lot of resource just to try and keep that player safe. So using all, if not the power squad down here. Second time now, they've caught a knock. Later on.
Right now, all three of those players you may have seen, because you had people that were rotating the little factory area they're in right now. So they get the knock, yeah, but you're down below. Your only option basically is to try and take shots on the structure and get the knockdown player exposed. If you don't get that player's crawling back. And a chance for third party. I would rather see what they're doing right now and sit inside the build, do all the wall runs, because and then you see on your mini map that almost is that trio, the one that they got the knockdown further outside. They're going to get pressure from the back. They have a chance that might be later rather than applying pressure and maybe.
That's the same team as done that.
It is
Sniper. Magnet for the heavy sniper. Gotta be careful. Gotta duck. NM7. Teams are collapsing everywhere. Minute left. He catches a knock right in the tail. TV is gonna go down, and this time they are not safe. He says it's time to battle. They want to push this through with less than a minute on the rotation. The heavy sniper cracks open the wall, and there is a team nearby. You can hear the shots being over if you look at your map, but they're going for safety instead. It's the long rotation.
Around. Those trios, the southeast side, they're rotating around trying to get the two teams that have literally fought each other time and time again now are finally applying pressure. NM7 to build up, trying to get the high ground. Not going to be able to do it just yet. Going to wait just a moment. Doesn't want to get pushed too far in on that trio without his teammates at his back. One elimination currently, but if the pressure is good, he gets a better position. Might be able to convert that into another 3. Shots from inside the safe zone. They're going to have to. They're just at the edge, and there are so many teams.
You can see here, this team is scary with a double heavy sniper. They're loaded up right now. Here comes the focus fire.
If instead of AR spray, that was a heavy snipe, that could have been an immediate knock, and then suddenly the tables are turned on this team for power.
Right, but it's okay. Power has plenty of heals to spare here. You saw he did manage to pop 2 big pots right there, so the squad kind of hooked him up. They still have 6 chug splashes. They have so they're very set up close together.
HP that you can get. All the double side. Before it finds the first one, beams, and Natsai goes down straight into the launch pad to rotate into the circle. This trio's playing very, very well.
Natsai should have known better than to sit still in a 1-by-1. That is one of the risks you take, especially in trio. There's way too many eyes focused on the field here. There's no way you can sit still in a box. That's the price you pay right there. Fantastic job right now.
just out of screen. You're also down in Minzy. The high ground down here. A number of teams that are
Nice little headshot right there. Kenji's gonna put some hurting on that team right there. They do have a heavy snipe to crack open the build as well. Snake, someone tries to take that high ground. He's gonna eat a couple of bullets for the sandwich right there. Colton goes down by Kenji. Nice reaction speed right there. That shockwave play was not the one to do.
but did land right there. Has that shield bubble out. Potentially make a rotation stand. Let's see here. I almost want to see one of these players toss it straight up under their own head.
He says he's gonna set that up for this right there, and just like that, they are and get to the next level.
Bro, that your grandma house is scary and holy. It was my grandma that opened it. She has a device and it can. Oh, bro, that freaked me out. It opened. I was scared. Oh, don't laugh at me. You know you were scared too. Oh shoot, I was gonna shoot someone's settings. You gotta do this fast.
Hey, I just created a professional Wix site for my business. Let's check it out. Go to Wix.com. There are hundreds of
5, 4,